as they praise him for hours, and he'd fill the room. Oh, I remember when they told us she had cancer, and we didn't have the answers, but we're there, 3 and 2. Same power, now and forever. No, you're not through. Same words can speak to the mountains and make them move. I know the God of the old is the God of the new. I know that you did it then, and you still do. You're still mighty and strong, faithful and true. You'll make a way, that's just what you do. You're the breaker of chains, beginning and end. I'm singing over and over the same power, now and forever. No, you're not through. Same words can speak to the mountains and make them move. I know the God of the old is the God of the new. I know that you did it then, and you still do. Same power, now and forever. No, you're not through. Same words can speak to the mountains and make them move. I know the God of the old is the God of the new. I know that you did it then, and you still do. You still do. I know that you did it then and you still do. Good evening, New Season Gospel FM family. Happy New Year. I feel like as though I haven't been here in forever. I haven't actually been on in a whole year. This is my first time this year. So I want to say good evening to family and friends who have joined in tonight on the show. Good evening to family who are listening on 89.1 FM. I appreciate all of you. Thank you so much for coming on. To family who are streaming on newseasonfm.com, thank you all so much. And of course, our Facebook and YouTube family in the room. Thank you all so much for coming on. It is always a pleasure to come on and just reflect and talk about our daily Christian life, how we're being Christ's hands and feet, how we're shining God's light brightly for others to see. I do pray that you are all doing well, that your year, your new year, your 2023 is off to an amazing start. I am so happy and excited for what this year holds. I'm super excited to explore new horizons, to see what God has in store for me, and just to do things differently. So again, if you're just coming on tonight, I want to say thank you for joining in this evening. Good evening, Sister Juliet. Good evening, Reverend Crescent. Sister Annie, how are you doing tonight? Hi, Sister Helena. How are you? I pray that you are all doing well. You're having you had an awesome day, and you are having a wonderful evening. So far, you're resting after a great day of a great Monday. Good evening, Sister Stacy. Thank you for coming on. And so, Faith Matters, like I always say, is a platform for us to reflect and talk about our daily Christian walk? How are we being Christ's hands and feet? How are we shining his light brightly for others to see and just being that light? Being that light, being his hands, being his feet, showing Christ to others just by everything that we are doing. And so I just basically reflect. I talk about how the journey is going for me, things that I respond to from a faith perspective, sometimes not so much from a faith perspective, and just different frustrations and stuff that I deal with just from a faith perspective. Good evening, Sister Salma. Thank you for coming on. And so that's what we're going to be doing tonight, or that's what I'm going to be doing tonight, just really sharing just lessons learned so far on this journey. I always say that this world that we're living in itself is just a big old classroom. We're learning every single day, every opportunity we have, or every day that the Lord gives us. Of course, it's a blessing. It's an opportunity for us to be his hands and feet, and it's also an opportunity for us to grow. It's an opportunity for us to just keep going, to keep moving, to not be where we're at. That's the most important thing, to just keep moving, keep going on this journey that we're on. And so that's what this platform is about. And I want to appreciate those who are out there, our supporters out there who have tirelessly just been there for us, supporting this radio station day in, day out by your prayers, by coming on. I want to say thank you, and financially also helping us just run the station. There's just so much that goes on behind the scenes. We will not be able to do this on our own. And so I just want to say thank you. Thank you so much to all the sponsors and supporters out there. It's because of your generosity that we're able to do this. And I know I speak for the entire team when I say we're extremely grateful. We're so thankful for your support, for all your help, to just spread God's word throughout the world. And so we're so thankful to you. If you're out there, you haven't supported, there's different ways that you can do so. Make this day be the day that you make that decision, that you decide to be a supporter of the station today. Wouldn't you do that today? The ways to do so are, of course, Cash App. For Cash App, it's the $ New Season WC. That's the $ New Season WC. That's for Cash App. You can also do so through Zelle. For Zelle, it's 954-536-1821. That's 954-536-1821. You can go straight to our website, newseasonfm.com. Click on the give/donate button, and it will take you right to the page where you're able to give. It's easy. 1, 2, 3, cha cha cha. If any of those don't work for you, you can simply just write us a check. We do accept checks. You can make a check out to us here and just mail it out to 4660 North University Drive, Lauderhill, Florida 33351. Again, that's 4660 North University Drive, Lauderhill, Florida 33351. And so now that I got that out of the way, I want to again welcome you into the show, into the room this evening. Good evening, Sister Grace. Thank you for coming on tonight. Thank you for coming on tonight. And so, of course, we all know how it goes, where I come on and I talk about, like, I start off by saying, oh, it's day 9 and we have, oh, how many days do we have left? But I'm specifically not going to start counting down just yet, because hello, people. We just started this year. So, of course, we know we're in the 300s. So, I am not counting down just yet, but it is day 9. We are on the 9th day of this year. So, how has the year been so far for you? How has this year been so far? So, I'm going to be talking, just reflecting again, just floating pretty much all around, just thoughts that have been in my mind for a while. So I'm going to be sharing a few thoughts depending on time. With you tonight, and then you could run with whatever you want to run with, and also if you're able to chime in and let me know your thoughts on some of the things that I shall be sharing tonight. But of course, I'm not going to leave out the holidays. Of course, I like to talk about the holidays, the weird ones, some not so weird ones, but all those holidays that we sometimes know about, sometimes we don't even know exist. But what I will say though is that there is something for every single day. So for today, it's clean off your desk day. Clean off your desk day. So for all of those out there, I think I need to clean out my desk. I've been trying to clean out my home desk actually. I think it's really important for us to do this because there's just something about working in a clean, just in a clean space. I think you're more productive when your desk is more is more organized and clean. Good evening, my brother D, all the way from Nigeria. Thank you for staying up late and joining me tonight. It's also apricot day. So for all those apricot lovers out there, I'm not, really don't like it. It's gluten free day. It's choreographers day. So for all those who teach those dances, who do, just choreography, we're a big shout out to all of them today. Of course, law enforcement officers, Law Enforcement Appreciation Day. A big shout out to all the law enforcement officers out there. We're so grateful to them for what they do, for the sacrifices they make. We need a shout out to their families as well, because their families also, in some ways, I know in some ways, in a lot of ways, are making that sacrifices as well. And so a shout out to their families as well. It's Word Nerd Day. Word Nerd Day. So for all those grammar Nazis out there, today's your day. For all those teachers out there, Sister Grace, I see you there. All those English teachers out there, it's Word Nerd Day. Are you a word nerd? I don't consider myself a word nerd, but I do love words, and I think I've gotten away from that for a while. I think life happens, and we get so caught up in so many things, and we're like, okay, I don't do the things I used to do so much. I don't read as much as I used to, and not learning as much new words or words as I would love to at this point. But I love this one. I think it's really important. Word Nerds Day. It is also Static Electricity Day. So for all those science people out there, you're gonna run with that. Tomorrow is Houseplant Appreciation Day. Okay, so I'm not a green thumb, but if you're a green thumb and you've got your house plant, if you've got all of those stuff out there, well, kudos to you, good for you. Appreciate your plant tomorrow. So I don't know what you're supposed to do in order to appreciate the plant and all. I think I've shared on the show quite a bit here. Good evening, Akil. I've shared on the show quite a bit how my mom had called me out for, because I had this plant that just kind of died on me. And my mom sort of said, she called me out. She was like, because I don't talk to plants. Oh, yeah, this is how it happened. It was another holiday that we had. Of course, it was a weird holiday where it says, talk to your plant or take your plant out. Something about doing something with a house plant. And my mom was like, yeah, you're not doing that to your house plant. That's why they die. I'm like, what are you talking about? I just don't have a green thumb. But so that is my story. If you have a house plant, you're that person out there who has that house plant, then I do say to you to just, yeah, appreciate your house plant. Good evening, Yeye. It's Bittersweet Chocolate Day. Bittersweet chocolate. I don't know how I feel about that one. Bittersweet. It is Poetry at Work Day. Poetry at Work Day. Save the Eagles Day. Shouting out to all the Eagles. We need to save the Eagles. Peculiar People Day. Peculiar People Day. We are a peculiar people, actually. So it is our day. Tomorrow we're celebrating our day as Christians, as followers of the way. We are peculiar people. It's Shop for Travel Day. Wednesday is Human Trafficking Awareness Day. That's really important. We really need to understand and just really create more awareness on this grave situation, human trafficking. Step in a puddle. This is weird. It's fun but weird. Well, fun for kids. I don't know, but sometimes I think we need to tap into our kitty self, if I must say so. It is Step in a Puddle and Splash Your Friend Day. I could so see Yessie doing this, stepping in puddles and just splashing me and doing all of that. So it's Step in a Puddle and Splash Your Friend Day. I don't know who thinks about these things, but I'm just giving you the holidays that are out there. It's Secret Pal Day. Do you have a secret pal out there? It is also Sketch Note Day, Sketch Note Pat Day. On Thursday, we're celebrating hot tea. I'm a tea drinker, not a coffee drinker. Don't love coffee. Never drank. I mean, I think I've drank coffee once, but it's like I just don't like it. I'm not a coffee person, but I am a tea person. So hot tea for me. I'm gonna celebrate hot tea on Thursday. It's Pharmacist Day. We're appreciating all our pharmacists out there. A shout out to my sister out there in Texas. She's a pharmacist. She's my sister in Virginia. So a shout out to Catherine. She's a pharmacist out there. Work hard today. This I like. You got to work harder. But when you're working harder, you also need to work smarter. So work hard today. Stick to your New Year's resolutions day. On Thursday, they're reminding you to stick to your New Year's resolutions because some people are going to be like, some people are going to fall off the way by the time we get to Thursday. So Thursday is a reminder for you to stick to your New Year's resolution. Friday, of course, I'm going to blame Yeye and Pastor and everybody about things or for things that I have failed to do. So I'm saying it now in advance. Yeye, I'm going to blame everything on you. When Pastor says, why haven't you done this? I'm like, oh, I'm sorry. Yeye is the one that made me do it, or she's the one that made me forget. So blame someone else day on Friday. It's make your dream come true as well on Friday. And those are my holidays for the week. Those are just the holidays for the week. Hopefully, you're able to run with something tonight and you are able to say, oh, this is the one for me. So, of course, I got a couple there that I can run with. Of course, I'm blaming Yay on Friday. It is stick to your New Year's resolution. I don't really do New Year's resolutions, so that's not for me. Clean up your desk day. I think that's important. It's important to declutter. And so just clean out your desk day. So, how many times have we heard? How many times have we heard? It's a new year, it's a new me. Many times people say these things just to signify or imply that they are changing or they have changed or they're not the same anymore. So they're like, oh, it's a new year, it's a new me. I'm not the same old person. We hear that quite a bit. We hear that quite a bit. And so it's important for us to recognize that when we say this, what exactly do we mean and what are we saying? What is it that we're saying that we are accomplishing or that we are transforming into, if that makes sense? So it could be that you realize that you're doing something different. It could be that you realize that you've been doing just you haven't really moved from where you were. You're just doing the same old thing over and over and over again. So for many different reasons, people just say, okay, it's a new year, it's a new me, and I'm going to do things differently. So I'm going to be reflecting quite a bit on that tonight. So again, if you're just joining in, this is Faith Matters with me, Mnena. It's just a platform where we reflect and talk about our daily Christian walk, how we're being Christ's hands and feet, being his light and shining it brightly for others to see. This will be a great time to just like the broadcast, share, invite someone to come on, and probably they'll be able to take something away from tonight. So again, how many times have you said that? I'm sure you've said that to yourself. It's a new year, it's a new me. I haven't said that this year. Oh, have I? But I've said that quite a bit in the past. I'm not one to make New Year's resolutions. I've said that time and time again. But I am one to just make those conscious daily commitments and daily decisions to change something. Because I just believe sometimes when we have this mindset of, okay, it's a new year, I'm going to do some, I'm going to do this. This is my resolution for this year. I'm going to stick to it. It sometimes doesn't work out as we plan it. And so we find so many times that people tend to not follow through on their resolutions or things that they've decided to do. And like I said, changing could be, you just want to change things from maybe you weren't doing things the right way. You realize you weren't doing things the right way and you want to do the right way this time. So that's why you want to change. It could also be that you're like, okay, I've just been in this position. I haven't moved. I haven't changed anything. So I want to just change just how I've been doing things. I want to grow from where I'm at, and growth is a good thing. You just want to get better from the point that you're at. Whatever the reason, we should always want to evolve. We should always want to improve or to grow. I'm currently reading this book that was recommended to me like 2 years ago, but I've just been procrastinating, never haven't like just constantly reading other stuff and never gone to read it. But this year I'm like, okay, I'm gonna start off. It's so funny how it happened because it just popped up on my phone because I was going through my Kindle app, and it popped up on my phone. I was like, okay, I guess that's a sign I have to read Atomic Habits. So I'm currently reading Atomic Habits by James Clear. A wonderful, wonderful book. I will highly recommend it to you out there if you're able to lay your hands on it. It's an amazing read. It's going to change the way you see things and just how it's just really going to help you. But the book talks about just habits, like the title implies, Atomic Habits. It's just like talking about the little tiny habits, how we change our habits or how we create or develop new habits just by making those little small changes. Changes that seem small, this was really fascinating when I was reading it. It's like changes that seem small and unimportant at first, will compound, and they will compound or they'll build up to remarkable results. And so it just, what really needs to happen is for us to get to that point where we're consistent. If you're consistent in the changes that you're hoping to achieve, and you stay consistent in those baby steps that you're taking, remembering what I always talk about, just really glorying in those steps, taking those baby steps and making sure that you're consistent and committed to them. I always talk about, you have all those big goals that we've set for ourselves, and we don't want to really appreciate the process. We're just looking to have those goals materialize or come to pass, and then we're like, yay, we did it. But this book is just really talking about that, those tiny habits or tiny things that we do in order to just have that big effect in the long run. And so those change, it might seem unimportant at first, but they compound to just remarkable results, if we're willing to stick to them. So the quality of our lives depends on the quality of our habits. I thought that was profound, how the quality of our lives depends on the quality of our habits. With the same habits, you end up with the same results, but with better habits. So if you have like this bad habit, you're gonna end up with the same result year in, year out. But if you with the same results, but with better habits, if you develop better habits, if you say, okay, I'm going to start to do things differently, things in a more positive sense, anything's possible. So she talks about just this long series of tiny wins, this long series of tiny breakthroughs. Again, appreciating the process, appreciating those baby steps that you're taking towards achieving those goals that you set for yourself. And reading this book, like you all know, I talk about those goals and setting those goals, but he really just changed my mind about how I see goals, and how just really changed my perception of how to set goals, or how I've actually been viewing growth, and how I've been measuring myself or trying to change things in my life. Because many times we're thinking of, we have this model of, okay, I'm going to set this goal, and this is what I'm working towards. So we're constantly just working towards those goals that we've set for ourselves. And he explains how sometimes we get to that point, of, because we're coming from that mindset of, this is a goal that I've set for myself, this is what I'm going to achieve, this is the outcome I want. And because we have that mindset of an outcome, of what this is the end goal, then we, sometimes we tend to fall by the wayside. We tend to get tired as we're taking those steps towards achieving those goals, because we're only thinking of those goals that we've set, and we're thinking of the outcome and just the steps we're just working towards taking those steps into achieving that. And so it was just really, it's a really fascinating read. I'm not done with it yet. I think I'm going to be talking about it for a while. But he's talking about just, for instance, if you say, okay, I'm gonna I'm going to write a book. I'm going to become a writer. I'm going to become a musician, or I want to be better at this. You have to start, like, you could start small by saying, okay, I'll write a page a day, or I could try by publishing, a short article or a short thing, just anywhere. It could be on your website. It could be just find some places where you can actually write something and commit to it. So if you do those little by little, you're going to develop that habit of writing consistently, writing daily. So it's just little steps like that. You wanna get better abs. You wanna get, build muscle, whatever. You can't get that by being a couch potato. You got to go to the gym, and when you go to the gym, you have to figure out the kind of training or the kind of weights you need to lift in order to get the result that you want, and you have to work towards getting that. And so he talks about a 4 steps model of habits, cues, cravings, response, and rewards, and things like that. So whatever your goals are, sometimes, I don't know about you, but I know that my goals are usually like, okay, faith, money, health, and all of that good stuff. But that's usually, our goals are usually around those things. And so whatever your goals are, you have to have that mindset of, um, you know, getting there. You have to see yourself in that position. Many times we think that in order to get this massive success, we have to take like this massive action. We have to do like this great, humongous thing, in order to get to get that thing that we want. But it's those little steps, it's those baby steps, those tiny wings, like just doing something, like going to bed earlier than usual. Say, okay, I go to bed at 9. uh, I go to bed at 9 o'clock, and I'm saying, I'm just using that as an example. If you go to bed at 9 and you feel like 9 o'clock is super late for you, how about you go to bed at 8:30? So if you cut down at 8:30 and you start going to bed a little earlier, that adds like 30 more minutes to your sleep time. It could be that, okay, I wake up, and then it could be vice versa. I'm waking up. If you wake up at, I don't know, 7 o'clock, you could say, okay, I'm going to wake up at 6:30. So that gives you more time. So what it's just making those little habits. You might not see the results like right now, but then you're going to see the results as it progresses. It's like just drinking a glass of water. That you're the person that doesn't drink water at all. Like, you're, every meal you have or every chance you get, you pop a soda or something. You just don't drink water. But if you make that little commitment of saying, I'm just going to drink a glass of water a day, it doesn't matter when, how, but it might not be anything to you or to someone else who knows you, but at least you're making that step. And if you're consistent to just drinking a glass of water every single day, so it's just having that mindset of thinking in little steps, taking things in little bites. You're going to get to where you need to get to. It's like, hammering away at a rock. You keep hammering at a rock, you're hammering at that rock, and nothing's happening, right? For years and years, you're just like, okay, I'm going to break this rock. And you keep chipping at it, and nothing's happening. But the one time you go there and you like, boom, and then what happens? The rock breaks, right? It's not that one time, the one little time that you hit it, but it's an accumulation of the many times, the many hits that you gave to that rock that really shattered it at that time, at the last moment that you hit again. You could have said, okay, I've been hitting this rock and nothing's happening, so okay, I'm done. This is not gonna happen. It's not happening for me. And then you let go. You're just like, I'm not gonna do it anymore. And then when you do that, then you lose out on shattering that rock. So the accumulation of many missteps that leads to massive problems. I thought that was really profound when he said that. When he said, the accumulation of many missteps leads to massive problems. So it's like, oh, you make one bad decision today, you take one bad move today, like, oh no, it's nothing. Remember, I talked about this last year, when it's like you're digging yourself into a hole, you feel you're falling out of your identity, or you're getting, getting far away from Christ, speaking from a faith perspective now. Good evening, Brother Robin. You're speaking from a faith perspective now. It's like you're slowly drawing away from the faith. You're slowly drawing away from your spirituality, and you have no idea. You're in your mind like, oh, I just missed, a prayer. I just forgot to pray this night. It's okay. Okay, it's okay. And then you shove that under the rug, and tomorrow you forget to pray again. So you're like, oh, okay, it's just one time. It's just two times. And before you know it, it's like, oh, okay. From you being here with God, it's like you're slowly going, and before you know it, you're like miles away. So it's really important for us to, and it's the same thing with habits, as good habits to speak. So if you start little by little, you may not see it, but over time, you're going to really see what's been happening with what you've done. And so it's really important for us to recognize that, especially as we start the new year again. Not saying, this is a New Year's resolution kind of thing I'm putting out there. If you're into New Year's resolutions and it works for you, that's fine. But it's something to think about. I think if we change our mindset on how we see change and how we see growth in ourselves, and if we want to incorporate something differently, I think it would really help us, because many times we're going about it the wrong way. So shifting how we think about it, and he talks about how sometimes your identity, not even sometimes, I think your identity, your habits change your identity. And he talks about it's very easy to repeat bad habits, and the more and it's more difficult. Have you noticed that it's just so easy to do the bad things, and it's just more difficult to form good ones? It's incredible, though. I love the fact that it's God's grace, actually. God's grace that just really illuminates things to me. Like every time I read a book, or whenever I'm reading a book, I try to look at it from a faith perspective. This is by no means it's not a spiritual book. It's just a book. It's not a spiritual book. But I was so struck by it because I could definitely apply biblical principles to it, and I was reading it through spiritual lenses, through faith lenses, because it's talking about how it's so true. Like the things that we don't want to do are the things that we do. The good thing that we don't want to do. The good thing that we want to do is what we don't do. But what we don't want to do, that's what we do. That's what St. Paul says. And so it's just really it's the same thing with bad habits. We know that eating too much greasy stuff and all of that is not good for us. But of course, a juicy burger is really good. French fries is awesome. It tastes great. I could eat a pizza, 24/7 and all of that stuff. And we know that in the long run, that's not healthy, but we're still going to do it. We're still going to eat it. Soda's not good for you. Too much soda's not good for you. But yes, I'm popping sodas. I'm drinking sodas at every meal or every chance I get, even though I know this is not good for me. So it's really important for us to recognize that and go with that. And so when you make the decision to change or form a new habit after the first couple of days, it's really important. It's so true. And that's why many people, I have failed several times. So this was definitely speaking to me as well. And I was like reading it. I was like, oh yeah, this is so true. So have you noticed that after the first couple of days that you've said, okay, I'm going to do this, the first day you succeed, it's like, okay, because you're on that high, right? You're on that, yay, I'm doing it. I said I'm going to do it, and I'm going to go for it. And you're like all excited. And it's, you're, yes, you keep eating your chocolate chip cookie. And you're all excited about the new thing that you're starting, this new venture, this new me that I'm, morphing into or wanting to morph into. So the first couple of days is fine, but then after that, it becomes a hassle. It's like, oh my gosh, I'm doing this again. Like, really? I have to wake up again. And it's just something that it's just normal. It's something that happens. But what the trick to it is fighting that and just really sticking to it. Speaking, it's just personally to me, when I started the whole 60-day journey, which was something that I did for myself, I had to challenge myself to say, okay, I'm going to do this every single day before the year runs out. For the next 60 days, I'm going to commit to posting a video every single day. And I could easily have said, okay, I'm going to record a series of videos. Say I could sit here today and say I'm going to record a series, like I'll record 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and just line them up to have them, just like, okay, post today, post tomorrow. But I was like, no, I'm not going to do that, because that would have defeated the purpose for me. So what I did was to daily, like I would daily wake up, and not sometimes I'm like, okay, I don't know what I'm going to talk about today, and I didn't prepare in advance. Like I just woke up every single day for 60 days to say, okay, I'm going to do this today. This is what I'm posting. And I mean, I did, and that's why most of the posts that came, like sometimes they didn't come at the same time, because there's, of course, life happens, and sometimes I forget, and I was like, oh my gosh, I didn't post anything late, but I have to post today. So it's just being consistent, and sticking to it, and being like, I'm going to stick to this. And it takes a lot. It really does take a lot for you to do that. And speaking again from my experience in that challenge that I did, having that 60-day challenge of posting every single day, it was hard. It's not easy forming good habits, or setting your mind to do something and saying you're not going to look back, you're going to keep doing, you're going to commit to doing it, is not easy. It's extremely difficult. I mean, there were days when sometimes I didn't want to post. Like, the day my dad passed, I was like, okay, I could easily have said, okay, I'm not feeling today. I don't want to post anything today. First, I've been crying my eyes out. I don't look like, but I said to myself, no, I am going to do this. I committed to doing it, and I did. And I'm so happy and proud of myself that I was able to stick to it. I kind of need to go back to it now, because it's like I've gotten to that point. I'm like, okay, that hurdle has been crossed, so I don't need to continue, but I am going to continue doing those posts, actually. But I was just saying that to say you have to be committed. Commitment is the key to getting to where you need to get to. So it becomes a hassle, and it's not fun anymore. The excitement dies, because, oh yeah, you go high and then you're low. So changing our habits is challenging, because we try to change the wrong thing. This is what he says. This is what James Clear says. Because we're trying to change the wrong thing, or we're trying to do it in the wrong way. And he says that change can occur in there's 3 levels that change occurs in, which we talked about. I mentioned a little bit about it earlier when I was talking about outcomes. Like when you have your mindset, this is the goal that I'm going to achieve. That's your outcome. You already have it in the back of your mind. My outcome for this is I want to lose weight. I want to lose 100 pounds. At the end of this, or whatever challenge you're doing, your outcome could be, oh, I want to write a book. Your outcome could be, I want to play the guitar. Whatever it is, you already have it in the back of your mind that this is your outcome. So many times we're looking at things, or we're going for our things from an outcome perspective. But he talks about the 3 levels of change, which of course are the outcome, the process, and the identity. Of course, yay, identity. You guys know I'm all about identity. I'm going to touch on that in a little bit if I have time. If not, I'm going to recycle that to next week. But outcomes. So again, like I talked about, your outcome is what you hope to achieve. What you're really looking to get. You're looking to lose that weight. You're looking to write a book. You're looking to start your own business. You're looking to make X amount of dollars, or X figures at blah 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 from your company, and things like that. And so those are your outcome. This is a level where it's about what you get. What am I getting at the end of this? That's the first. That's the one level. And then the next level is the process, which is really important. And I never thought about it this way, because we're always just thinking about the outcome, but we're not thinking about the other layers. It's like an onion. There's different layers. So you peel one layer and you get into another layer, and there's another layer, and there's another layer. So having all those different layers, and just really acknowledging all the layers that are there, and making sure that you're not just looking or just dealing with just one layer, because if you do that, then you don't really get at the core. So the process, which like I said, I didn't think about it, but it was just really interesting to see how it was going on. The process concerns it just concerns the routine, the routine that you take, the route, if you want to say that you take in order to get to your goal, to get to that desired outcome that you're looking for. So what is your workout plan? Okay, you want to get, you want to build muscle. What is your workout plan? You want to lose weight. What is your diet? What diet are you going to get on? What kind of foods are you going to start eating? How is your sleep pattern? You want to write a book. How many pages are you going to be writing a day? What books are you reading? Like, and things like that. So this level is about what you do. This level, this process level is about what you do. So what are you doing to get to that outcome? What are you doing in this point? What are you doing at this level? What are the steps that you're taking at this level to get to that desired outcome that you have? And the third level, which he mentions, is the identity, which this blew my mind because I didn't think about it, and reading, I was like, oh my gosh, this is so great. Identity is concerned with changing your beliefs. So again, depending on what you believe in, depending on where you're at in faith-wise, how your identity is, because again, this is not it's not a spiritual book, it's not a religious book, but I was reading, like I read all my literature, everything I read, I try to apply or look at it from a faith perspective. And it's always really interesting to see how, good evening, Sister Juliet. It's always really interesting to see how faith plays a role in so many things. I mean, he was preaching in this, even though I'm pretty sure he didn't know he was preaching in it, or he didn't know he was really sharing and speaking the gospel truth. But it's interesting to just see how when you look at things from God's eyes or from a faith perspective, you kind of see God's hands in so many things. But this level, the identity level, is, good evening, Sister Keisha, the identity level is concerned with changing your beliefs. Again, like I said, changing your beliefs from a faith perspective will depend on what those beliefs are. So if you're already a Christian, if you're already on the on the path of truth, then I would say you have to tweak it how you want to tweak it where it doesn't affect your faith. And so this level is about belief. It's about belief. Like, who am I? Who am I? What do I stand for? What am I in? Who am I in Christ? Again, I'm giving my own take on it from a faith perspective. So I'm asking myself, okay, who am I? I have to really know who I am. Who am I? Who am I in Christ? What do I stand for? What do I believe? And he says that all levels of change are useful in their own way. There's no level that's better. So they're all useful. The outcomes level is good. The process level is good, and of course your identity level is it's good. I think that's really important. The problem comes when we rely or we focus on just one level, which many times I know I've done that, and I've really pushed that as well many times, focusing on the outcome, which is, okay, we're setting this goal, this is what we're doing, and that's it. So many times we focus just on the outcome, we're focusing just on the result, forgetting to just really incorporate all the other aspects into it. So this is the outcome and what I'm looking towards. So what is the process that I'm going to take towards achieving that? And then how does this fall in line, or how does this fall in line with my identity, or how does my identity play a role in getting to the outcome that I want? Does that make sense? And so it's just really, like I said, it's a fascinating read. I love it. And it's just had so many light bulbs in my head. So all levels of change are useful. So they're all useful. And he posits that in order to form lasting habits, this is what he says. He says, in order to form lasting habits, we need to focus on who we wish to become. Again, he's preaching here. When you say, you have to speak it. We have to speak it. You want to be this, you have to believe it. You believe it, you speak it into being. And so it's like in order to form lasting habits, we need to focus on who we wish to become. And he gave this example of two people who were trying to quit smoking. And one was offered a cigarette, and he's like, oh, no, thank you, I'm trying to quit. And the other was also offered a cigarette, and he says, no, thank you, I'm not a smoker. I don't smoke. I'm not a smoker. So the first one It's almost the same, but the responses are different. But the first one is hoping that their behavior will change while carrying along with the same beliefs. So he's like, okay, I'm a smoker. I'm just trying to change. So in his mind, he still sees himself as a smoker. And so when he's offered the cigarette, he's saying, okay, no, I'm sorry, I can't take it. I'm just, I'm trying to quit. So he's saying now that um, I can't take it because yes, I am a smoker, but I'm trying to get out of this, or I'm trying to break this identity, or trying to break free of this, bust out of this cigarette smoking jail that I'm in. So I cannot accept the cigarette. Whereas the other guy is like, they're like, oh hey, you want a cigarette? He's like, no, I don't want a cigarette. I don't smoke. I'm not a smoker. So in his case, he already sees himself as a non-smoker. He already sees himself as a non-smoker. He's like, I'm not a smoker. I don't know what you're talking about. Do you see anybody here who smokes? Well, not, definitely not me. So I'm not taking it. So he sees himself as what he envisions. He envisions himself as a non-smoker, and he's already seeing himself that way, and he's acting that way. And if we start to think that way, think in that manner, if we have it in our minds that this is what we are, this is who we are, then we begin to walk towards walk and work towards getting to that point, or that person, or that position that we've envisioned ourselves in. So if you see yourself as successful, exactly, life and death is in the power of the tongue. We are what we, yeah, exactly. And that's why it's really important, like the things that we say. So if you see yourself as successful, you constantly declare how successful you are. You're going to speak it. And if you see yourself as that person, you're going to do things, all the things that a successful person does. You're not going to be a procrastinator. You're going to get up, you're going to work hard, you're going to put your mind to it because you want to be this person. And that's who you see yourself as. So because you see yourself as that person, you're working towards that. Good evening, brother Dwayne. If you see yourself as a musician, say, "Yo, I'm a great musician. I play the violin. I do all of this, or I play whatever instrument it is that you want to pick up." You're gonna see yourself as a violinist, and you're gonna start thinking in terms of a violinist, because that's your identity. That's your envisioned identity. So you're gonna wake up. You're gonna practice, because that's what they do. I mean, they practice in order to get there. Even though they're great, they're good at their craft, whatever they do, whatever you do, they still work at it. So you wake up with that work ethic. You wake up with that mentality of, this is who I am, and because this is who I am, I'm going to do and start acting and walking just like this person. So if you see yourself as blessed, you're going to be blessed. You're going to wake up every morning and say, I am blessed. I'm a child of God. This is what God says about me, and I'm going to do this. So every step you take really just really matters on the kind of things, or how you think or say things about yourself, or what you believe yourself to be. Okay, so your old identity can sabotage. This was really good for me. He says your old identity can sabotage your new action for change. Your old identity can sabotage your new action for change. Again, looking from a spiritual lens here. You want to change. You want to get closer to God. You want to have this you want to have this deep relationship. You want to go into a deeper relationship with Christ. In order to do that, you're trying to break off, from friends. There are certain friends you have to say, okay, bye. I don't want to be with you anymore. For where I'm going, you can't come with me. So you need to let go of certain friends. You need to let go of certain habits. You need to change things in order to get to that deeper relationship that you're looking for with Christ. And so many times our old identity, the things that we do, can sabotage. Because my action plan is I want to be I want to be closer to God. I want to have a deeper relationship with God. That's my outcome. My action plan is I'm going to study the word daily. I'm going to be around people who encourage me, people who will speak life to me, people who will pray with me. Those are the people I'm going to be with. I'm going to be in church regularly. I mean, I'm going to try to just soak in like every aspect that I can, just live and breathe church. That's what I'm going to try to do. So that's your action plan. But then your old identity now comes in where, okay, you still have like a few friends who keep calling you like, hey, can we hit up this club this day? And or hey, did you see that? Sometimes somebody might just text you something. Oh, look at what that one's wearing. You know, so you're old, and that's who you used to be. So if you're not careful, your old identity can sabotage your new action for change. That's one thing. And I was like, wow, you're preaching really good, James Clear, but you have no idea you're preaching. But anyways, so it's also hard to change, he said. It's also hard to change habits if we don't change the underlying beliefs. It's hard to change habits if we don't change the underlying beliefs. So if I feel as though I'm not worthy of something, if I see myself as, and this is what this speaking to me now, using myself as an example. I mean, it's no secret. I think I've said it quite a bit. I don't know if I've said it on the air, but I say all the time that I'm horrible at math, know nothing about I'm not good at math. I've said that several times, and it's interesting because I mean many years I've said that because in my mind I feel as though that is true because I was, I was never, I was never a math whiz kid or anything. And so I don't like numbers, and I say that all the time. So that's my belief. It doesn't mean that I would, it doesn't mean that I can't learn math because I can, because I do know there were times, so a few times where I actually got A's in math, but that was like I can count on my hand. So, but it means that if it's already my belief. I already believe in my mind. I already have it in my mind because I've said it to myself. I'm not good at math, and that's it. So, because I have that in my mind, I'm not going to do anything, or I'm not going to try to do anything that has anything to do with numbers. Like, I try to avoid anything. Like, let's just assume that I was just getting out of, high school, trying to get into college. I'm sure not going, and I actually did not pick anything that had to do with math. I mean, as a child, I wanted to be. Isn't it interesting when you're a child, you think of all these great things you want to be? As a child, I wanted to be a pilot or an aeronautical engineer. That did not happen, and of course, you need math for all of that. But that's not why I didn't go in. I just my dreams changed. But if you have this mindset of I'm not good at math, you're not going to say I'm coming out of high school. I'm not going to pick things that I'm not going to want to go into the medical field. I'm not going to want to do anything engineering related because I'm scared of math. So it's hard to change habits if you don't change the underlying beliefs, because that's my belief. But it doesn't mean that I can't be an engineer. I could be an engineer. I could be a doctor right now if I want to. I could be a nurse if I want to. I can go back and still do, if I put my mind to it, if I change that belief, that mindset that I'm not good in physics, I'm not good with math, I'm not good with all those, calculus and all of that, I can still go in and be like, I can do this. So it really depends. What we say or what we believe really, really affects the habits that we have. And something that was really, really strong was the more pride you have in your identity, the more pride you have in your identity, the more committed you will be. This was powerful. The more pride you have in your identity, the more committed you will be in maintaining the habits associated with that identity. And when I saw this again, from a faith perspective, the more pride you have in yourself as a child of God, the more pride you have in yourself as one who is in communion with God, the more committed you will be to maintaining the habits associated with that identity. Okay, so I'm a child of God. This is what I stand for. I don't want to be separated from God. And this is my pride. This is who I am, and I take pride in my identity as a child of God. So, because I take pride, so much pride in my identity, I'm going to maintain, I'm going to fight to the nail to stay committed to maintaining the habits that I have right now, that are associated with my identity as a child of God. I'm going to stick with the friends that I have right now, that encourage me. I'm going to stick with the group, the people that I have, that that the support system that I have, that help me spiritually. I'm going to stick with the church. I'm going to stick with with the Word of God, with the Bible being my daily guide. I'm going to listen to uplifting literature, to uplifting words. I'm going to listen to music and sounds from heaven. So that's what I'm going to do, because I take pride in my identity as a child of God, and because of that pride, I'm going to fight to the nail to maintain the habits that I have that are associated to my identity as a child of God. So I just really think it's important for us to remember all of those. And one final thing, before I head out, which is one thing that I just really, a lot of things in the book blew my mind. Again, the name of the book is Atomic Habits by James Clear. It's an amazing read. You're not going to regret it. Do not be afraid. I penned this down. I just had to put it in my own words. Do not be afraid to walk in your own identity, in your authority. He actually said to walk in your authority, because if you believe it, you see it, you say, this is who I am. If you walk in that authority, you walk in that identity that you have. Do not be afraid to walk in your authority, in your identity. So who are you? Are you a plumber? Are you a teacher? Are you a trainer? Whatever it is, are you a publicist? Are you a writer? Whatever your authority is, do not be afraid to walk in your authority. I'm an authority in a lot of fields. And this, again, speaking specifically to me, you can apply it to you. I'm an authority in so many fields. I'm an authority in writing. I'm an authority in conflict coaching. I'm an authority in trainings and workshop developments, and just so many things. But many times we find ourselves shying away from walking in our authority. We're not really, we don't tell people who we are. We because of the fear that, I don't know what the fear is. Like, okay, fear of judgment, or fear of, oh, I don't know what people are going to say. But whatever it is, we have to learn to cast that fear aside and not be afraid to walk in our authority. So what is it? Who are you? That's a question that I'm going to close out with tonight. Who are you? What authority are you in? Like, are you an authority on a particular issue or in any field? What is that authority? And can you claim that authority? Can you claim that identity today and not be afraid and just start walking in it? Because it's really important to walk in your authority. And that really helps. It helps boost your self-esteem, your self-confidence. There's somebody out there who's just looking and waiting for you to begin to walk in your authority, to give them the insight or give them the push that they need to walk in their own authority. So just wanted to throw those out there for you tonight. So do not be afraid to walk in your authority. It's extremely important, especially now. Of course, I'm not a New Year's resolutions person, but it's a new year. It's a new you, however you want to put it. If you're that person who says it's a new year, it's a new me, that should be that should be the mindset that you're going into 2023 with. Like, hey, listen, this is me. This is a new year. It's a new me. I'm going to start doing things this way, and I'm not going to be afraid to walk in my authority, in my identity as a child of God. So apply it in your life, however that applies to you. It could be in your professional life. It could be in your spiritual life. Wherever that applies, you really need to just run with that. So hopefully this has given you just a few pointers or just a few things that you can run with. And I just want to say thank you. Thank you so much for joining me tonight on the show. So thank you to family who were kind enough to stay until now on newseasonfm.com. I appreciate all of you. To those who've been listening on 89.1 FM, it's a pleasure. I know we don't get to see you guys inside the room like we see the others who join on the other social media platforms, but we do appreciate you. We appreciate the support. I appreciate the support. From all of you, to family who have joined in on YouTube and Facebook. Thank you all so much. Sister Juliet, thank you. Sister Salma, Sister Anne Marie, Yay, thank you. My brother Desmond, thank you so much. Akil, I saw you somewhere there. Brother D, Britt, thank you for coming on tonight. Sister Stacy, Reverend Crescent, thank you so much for coming on. Sister Annie, again, thank you. I appreciate you all for coming on. Don't forget, again, we are a listener supported station. It's because of your generosity that we're able to do what we do. Good night, Sister Grace. Thank you so much for coming on. It's because of your generosity that we're able to do what we do. So there's different ways that you can help out. You can do so through Zelle. For Zelle, it's 954-536-1821. Again, that's 954-536-1821. You can go the route of Cash App, which is the $ New Season WC. That's the $ New Season WC. For Cash App, you can go straight to our website, newseasonfm.com. Click on the give/donate button, and it will take you right to the page where you're able to give. If any of those don't work for you, you can most definitely write us a check, mail it out to 4660 North University Drive, Lauderhill, Florida 33351. Again, that's 4660 North University Drive, Lauderhill, Florida 33351. And so again, thank you all so much for coming on tonight. Join us in the morning for In His Presence at 6:30 a.m., our morning devotion. Of course, you're going to circle back at 8 a.m. to 10 for the Pastor Steve show. You're going to go out, have an awesome day, and you're going to come back for Speak the Word with Reverend Crescent Hessen at 7:30. Good night, Sister Helena. Thank you for coming on. Sister Keisha, have a good night as well. And before I leave, do not forget to get your tickets. I am super excited. This year is just off to an amazing start. Pastor Steve is starting his tour. I mean, he's getting back in the game. I'm so happy to see that happening. It's February 11th. Right here. We're starting off in this house. 4660 North University Drive is the place to be. Friday evening, I would say, February 11th. It's his birthday weekend, so come out, support him and tell him how much we love him and how much we appreciate him, and just come out and have a great time of worship. Tickets are $35. You can get tickets from PastorStephenBuchanan.com. The tickets are right there. You can purchase your tickets from there. Purchase 3. I would say get 3 tickets, and you can give two others to other people. So yes, be there or be square. Sister Annie said it. I did not say that, but I concur. So be there or be square. So please come out. Let's support Pastor Steve in this amazing chapter that he's reopening, to just getting back to what God has called him to do, which is just to bless our hearts with amazing songs. I mean, I could sit here all night and just gush over him and just his and the ministry, and just how amazing and anointed he is as a worship leader. But yeah, and I'm gonna leave it at that. So, but you guys get the gist. So that's just asking you all to go out, purchase your tickets. Tickets are going fast, so you better hurry. The tickets are going really fast. So please support. Really appreciate you again for your support. So go. Have a wonderful rest of the night. Come back in the morning, okay? Come back in the morning. Don't forget, 6:30 for In His Presence. We're going to worship in God's presence. So, taking us out tonight, of course, in the midst of the chaos, we got to trust God. In the midst of all that we're going through, our God is still God. Just let the enemy know that regardless of what happens, God is still in control. And sometimes you cannot explain the peace that you have in the midst of the storm, but God is still writing his symphony. It's just a symphony that he's working on in the midst of the chaos. So have a great day, everyone. Have a good night, everyone. Brother D, have a good night.
And it's overwhelming, darkness echoes all around. Feels like everything is crashing down. Still I know where my hope is found. And it's only you and ooh. You say you're working everything for my good and ooh, I believe every word. 'Cause even in the madness there's peace, drowning out the voices all around me. Through all of this chaos, you are writing a symphony, a symphony. And even in the madness, there's peace, drowning out the voices all around me. Through all of this chaos, you are writing a symphony, a symphony. Oh, to my heart, to your beat, let me be your melody. Even when I cannot see, but you're orchestrating. Even when the dark surrounds, you'll never let me drown. I know that my hope is found in the name of Jesus. Ooh, you say you're working everything for my good and ooh, I believe every word. 'Cause even in the madness, there's peace, drowning out the voices all around me. Through all of this chaos, you are writing a symphony, a symphony. And even in the madness, there's peace, drowning out the voices all around me. Through all of this chaos, you are writing a symphony, a symphony.
Yeah, I wanna truly know if you compose beautiful music, though. From all my unruly notes, the distance is distant, it's moving close. Now I see, erase the scales from my eyes, then play the scale of my life. Chaos played off with a chord and a chord with a source, preventing from strifing. I've tasted suffering, I've been embraced by the painful buffering. I've been bound by doubt so loud right now, but a melody is made when you play these rusty keys. So we all gotta get pressed, tuned up like instruments. But I know all of life's tempo is set whenever we remember this.
Even in